Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hey, Francis.
Hi, Alemi.
Hey,
How
how are
you
you?
doing?
Doing good, doing good. I'm getting started with my 2 week quarantine here. So, it's just, I guess I'm just going to do streams every day. That's going to be my window to the outside
Yeah,
world.
the best use of your time during
Yeah. How,
since you
how are
can't
you
be
doing?
out. I'm doing great. The weather here, the temperature, it's cool.
Well, so you said the weather.
I'm not on quarantine as
Yeah, you said the weather here, but I think where are you actually? Because that's the first
yeah,
time we have you on stream. So
yeah, sure. So I'm here in Abuja, Nigeria. Abuja is the capital of Nigeria. So I'm excited to be here streaming with you.
and
My
what
first
so what are you doing at Postman? What's your role?
At Postman, I'm a technical support engineer. So all the questions from our user base, developers, DevOps engineers, they come in via our help email. I will get to respond to them, and we shall have a good first response time and complete resolution time.
Well, we can. You know what? We can actually try that right now because we already have a question from Anderson Bat who says how to work for Postman through GSOC. So that's not quite a Postman like technical questions. Um,
Okay.
GSOC is Google Summer of Code, which is a program from Google which allows you to like take part in different initiatives with different companies. And we
Mm-hmm.
did that this year. Um, so I'll answer that question because I think it's more of a how would I say it's not a technical question, but if you want to work
Yeah,
for
I think he should send an email to us at help@postman.com, and we'll direct him to the right quarters. So we also get those questions. People come in, want to work at Postman, and we point them to the right email where they'll get all the information they need. So yeah.
yeah, so you can go through the help, and the other thing is I think Google Summer of Code is finished for this year, but there's going to be a new one next year, obviously, and we'll be taking part in it as far as I know.
Yeah.
And from there on, all you have to do is register with Google, and then Google is in charge of like telling you. I think you have to apply for different projects, and they tell you you've been accepted here or there.
Sure.
Um, Hi Manoj, nice to see you all here. So yeah, with Francis is my go-to technical person here, and I'll be here just to like make conversation while Francis answers all your questions. That's the plan today. So with that said, let's. I'll do in case you missed it first.
Oh,
Do,
cool.
do, do you know what's in case you missed it, Francis?
Yeah, so from all the updates we have, we're always shipping new features and crushing out bugs from our GitHub tracker. So when these bugs are resolved, then we have a new feature, try to update our users,
So
mostly from our release notes.
yeah, that's what
Uh,
we'll try to do here. But we had a new. I think we had a new release. Let me check. So we have the release notes here. Just
tracker.
oh, actually, I need to share my screen so Francis can see my screen. That would be nice. Okay, so now you should be able to see my screen.
Yeah, I can
Okay,
see your screen
that's better.
now.
Otherwise, it's just me like talking to people and showing my screen, but you don't actually know what I'm doing. So we didn't have a release. We have a release. I think maybe today, which is going to be 7.34. But this has no user-facing changes. So there's nothing for you to know. It's just like performance improvements and some like small bug fixes. What we've changed recently. I actually don't remember if we've showed it on stream, but you can watch an API schema, so we can demo that, and you can scan your whole GitHub repository and import API schemas directly into your workspace. So
Mhm.
we can show these two. Um, do you know what's the watch API schema thing?
Yeah, so the watch API schema, not really, but we could try it out now and see what it really is.
So I think watch API schema, let's say here you can see I'm on a team workspace and I've got my teammates here. So they're all inactive. I guess they're all still sleeping or just don't want to work today. It's fine.
That's the US based. So yes, they are sleeping right now.
Yeah, probably sleeping. But if you're in a team workspace and you have APIs that have been created by your teammates, you may want to be aware of like when there are changes to the schema, when this is updated or anything. So what you can do now, there's this watch button. So anyone that is familiar with GitHub, it's kind of the watch feature on GitHub as well. You click on there, you add it to the list, and now if anyone else updates the schema, yeah, you get a notification. So I think you get a notification both here in the app and by email. Obviously, you can change that. You can update like where you get notifications, etc.
So and basically, it's just like the GitHub watch feature that we have.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're trying to track an issue and update, I think most times we tell users when they report a bug to us and it's already on GitHub, we encourage them to sign up for notifications by clicking on the watch button so that they get updated when an engineer makes a comment or we have resolved the same issue.
Let's actually show that. So there's two things in GitHub. So one is the watch repository that you have at the top right here. So that's the same. You just click watch, you can unwatch, and you can select the type of notification. And the one that you mentioned is, let's say I'm wanting to know like probably everyone else when our what did I do? When our WebSocket's going to come, right? If I want to be updated whenever this may be released, so you have the subscribe feature here. That's what you're talking about, right?
I know that the watch.
Oh, it's there.
Up. You can unwatch.
This one.
Yeah, I think you're already watching, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, I think this one is for the whole repository though. Whereas this one is just for this specific issue.
Specific issue, right?
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, I think both of them are the same as the one we have on Postman. I lost it. It's here. It's same principle as this. You are looking to have information or like to be kept up to date on a specific entity, whether it be like the Postman repository, the GitHub repository, GitHub topic, etc. You just click here, and then when you get too many notifications because your teammates are working so hard and they always change, then you can click and watch, and you're not watching it anymore. So that's one. The other one we mentioned was, do you remember? Because I think I lost the page.
I think we stopped on the first one, which is watch, scan your GitHub repository and import API schema into your workspace.
Have you used this one before? Or have you had questions around it?
Yeah, so I think yesterday I had a question from a user. They're trying to know that this had to do with integrations. So for team integrations, those who have team plans, they have 10 integrations that they can use, and the limit is 10. So the user was like, how do we count integrations? What do we count as one integration? Is it that if I have a particular repository and then I have 10 collections, does it mean that I'm limited to only 10 collections for my integration? But how it's been counted is that for two-way schemas, it's free. But if I have 2 collections and I want to back those 2 collections up on GitHub, it counts as 2.
Okay, so let's actually walk through that.
So but if you have,
do you want to walk through it, or do you want me to do it? Okay.
Yes.
So basically, what Francis, you're talking about is these integrations here. So if I go to the dashboard, just navigate there. Okay, so these are all the integrations that are currently available on Postman, which there's a few, right? I guess I'm guessing the most famous one is probably GitHub, right?
Yeah.
And for GitHub, there's 2 different ones. 3 actually. Wow, I'm learning every day. So one of them is back into just your normal Postman repository. Second one is backing up to a custom domain. And third one is syncing your API schema. So this one, what you're saying is this one, I can do it as much as I want. It won't count towards the... Okay, so that's cool. So I'll demo...
other ones, it counts.
I'll demo this one quickly, I think. So this one is when you're in one of your APIs.
Mm-hmm.
And here you can connect a repository. And what this would do, this would duplicate or create a new version of that schema on your GitHub repository. And whenever you update here, it would create a new commit on GitHub. And whenever you update on GitHub, it would update in here as well. So two-way sync is not just like you update here, it updates GitHub, but also you update GitHub, it updates Postman.
It updates Postman, true.
And the other ones is this one. So can you talk about what these ones are? I mean, these 2, what do they do?
So as the name implies, sometimes you just want to back up your Postman collections on GitHub on a particular repository just to keep them. And there's no sync between, let's say, GitHub to Postman or Postman, just basically to back up.
Okay.
So it's more like a storage
save.
Kind of save. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what backup your Postman collections have to do with that.
So I'm not
integration.
I'm not going to demo this one just because we have a question, and today we want to have the best answering time ever. So we're gonna answer all the questions. So the question is from Frankie, who asks, how to set parameters for environment.
Yeah.
So what's a parameter?
So a parameter has to do with, I would say, the amount of variables that you set for your particular endpoint or where you're trying to send your request to. So the first thing you need to do is there's an icon. We have an environment icon next to
you know what? Let's go and create the whole thing. So I created a collection for this Twitch office hour. So it's the 6th of October. Can't type stream. Cool. And then in this one, I'll create a new request. It's going to be environment parameter demo.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say for Frankie that you had this request here. Cool. So we have a request and you want to set parameters for environment. So let's say we want to add a query parameter which is in the environment. How would I go with that, Francis?
So if you want to set a parameter for your environment, the first thing you have to do is check on your particular endpoint, what variable do you have there?
Okay.
Or
so let's create one. Let's say my variable is going to be today technical support engineer, and the value is going to be Francis Labe. Okay, so that's my variable, and now I want that to be in an environment. How do I do?
So if you want that to be in an environment, it's icon top right.
This one.
Yep. And then you can click on add.
And
give it a name. Let's call it
6 October env. Okay.
It's what variable name are we going to give now?
It's today TSC, I think I called it.
Today TSC. All right. And
Francis Okay, that would be it.
Yep.
Okay, so now I can add, but I need to replace here as well, right?
Sure.
Okay, so I can do today. Oh, I need to select the environment. That's a trick one. So when you have your list environments here, I need to make sure that you're on the right one.
The right environment. So, and then this particular question we always get, so environments are specific to workspaces.
So, yeah, you're right.
So we have a user that will come and say, oh, I have this environment and I can't find it again. But most cases they were in a different workspace and that environment wasn't accessible there.
Actually, that's a good point. We can walk through the different scopes. So just before, we have two other comments. We have Danny Dainton. I don't know who that is. I've seen his name a few times before. I'm not sure. But apparently he says he's loving Postman. He says it's such a cool platform. Thank you, Danny. And then we have Guru Senpai 11 who says, hello there, I'm noob. Can anyone say what's going on? Well, first, we're all noobs here. We're all learning. What's going on? It's just a stream where we get questions from our users or anyone using Postman, and we try to help them using the platform. So before we move forward, Frankie, if we did not answer your question correctly, please let us know and refine or redefine your question so we can help you better. But if we have, I'll keep going and talk about the scope. So Francis mentioned how this environment is specific to your whole workspace. So if I could go to data request, as long as I'm on the same environment, I can use the same values. But let's say I want to set that URL as a specific to that collection. What I can do now, and that's a great demo to do as well. Now there's this pop-up that allows you to set any value as a variable. So I'm going to click here and say set as variable, and I'll set as a new variable, and I can actually select the scope. So there's 3 different scopes. So global means you can use it from any collection in the workspace, even without selecting an environment. So whichever environment I'm going to be on, this value is going to be available. Then environment is specific to an environment, so I'd always need to have that environment checked. And collection is at the collection level, so that means this value is going to be only available to that collection. And if I call it endpoint, for example, so now you can see in this collection, this is resolved, and it says it's endpoint. But if I go to this one and I update with endpoint, this will stay red and this won't resolved because it doesn't have access to it.
So, and that checker, it's good for debugging. So when you see something is not resolving with green, it notifies you that, oh, you're on the wrong workspace, or this particular environment is not accessible. It means that hasn't been resolved.
So now
that saves a lot of time with debugging issues, right?
Yeah, so it helps with debugging, and also it helps with when you have, let's say you have a value that you have to reuse across tens of requests, then you can just use this variable everywhere and you can update it once in your environment. So that helps with debugging, but that also helps with the development phase.
Yeah.
And let's see if I send this. Cool. So it's all Postman Echo API. Whatever you send to it, it echoes it back to you. So you can see it does send back the value of Francis. So we've used in one request, we've used collection scope, environment scope. Let's set the method as a global one. Okay, that's mostly variables now. So this one comes with the global, and if you do the quick look at the top right, you can see all your global variables. So I can see that this one is get. I can see that my current environment selected is this one, and the sorry, the collection level one. I think how do you access the collection level ones?
I didn't get that.
Sorry?
I didn't get that question. You asked me a question concerning collections.
So the question is, how do I access the collection level variables? How do I see them?
Oh, yeah. So when you navigate to
it's somewhere here, right? I can see edit, and then that's the one, variables. So it's a tricky one compared to this one. So this one's you can see, okay, I've got the environment, I've got globals, but if I want the collection specific, I need to go in my collection here, and click the 3 little dots, edit, variables. I think that's the way to do it. There may be a better way. I'm not.
I'm trying to think of the faster way because I know this used to be like a longer road because it's kind of hidden.
I think there may be a better way, and if not, there will be a better way someday. Cool. Okay, so we have done this. Let's see. Do we have any? We don't have any other question for now. So what could we show? Actually, let me go back here. So one thing that so this is the collection that we've been working on, and there's always, I think we always have that question, or you always have that question, is how do I see like what happened? And I was just on that tab, which is the changelog.
And so the thing with this changelog is that not all teams or subscriptions have the feature to restore.
Is this a paid thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, is this based on the time?
Yeah, plants.
And plant. Okay.
Yeah. So not all plants have the restore feature.
Let's see. I have so this is a free account that I have. What if I look at the history of this one? Okay, so, well, I mean, it says there's no change, so let's see if I make a change. I'll do what you just did. So Postman Canary doesn't have the pop-up to set as variable. This is sad. Let's just then do post and switch that to post. Cool. And now if I look at the changelog, okay, so it does say I changed stuff, but I can't restore. Okay.
Yeah.
It's fair enough.
So that's so we always get that question. And also those on the enterprise plan, it's something that most of them are not aware of, and they're like, oh wow, I didn't know about this. So they can always restore their changes, and they can always see the changes they've made. And I'd say perks of a paid plan.
Danny is also saying how you don't get the diff, like this stuff, whereas so this one is the paid one, and you can see the actual difference exactly, whereas this one, which is on the free one, you just get the information straight there. And Danny has a question. Let's see.
Danny,
is there a way to programmatically set the variables at the different levels? Probably. No, there is, I think.
I think using the set environment API we have on pre-request scripts.
So let's see, because what we have as well now is the autocomplete. So I should be able to just go pm dot. So I'm guessing collection variables dot set. Yep, there you go. So this one would set at the collection level. Let's see what we have. pm dot environment dot. I'm just making up as I go, and let's see. Actually, let's just go back to the other one I had. Then I can just play around and say, okay, so I'll do pm.collectionVariable.set and say this one is going to be, how do you say that? Asker, someone that asks question. Is that an asker? And that's going to be Danny Dainton. Okay, and then actually we have someone that just answered in chat, so I'll use their answer and I'll say pms.variable.set. So would that be global, this one? If I just use variables? Where is that going to be? Or is it going to be local?
I think it's going to be local.
Okay, so let's do, this one is collection level, global level. This one is local level. And this one is answerer. I'm making up words as well as I go. And it's Kalpana. Okay, and then we want, so we have collection, local. That would be the lowest one, so let's go at the top. Then on top of that we have environment level, so that would be pm.environment.set, I'm guessing.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one is going to be, what are we going to set here? The time, and it's going to be new date. Cool. And then we have global level. So can you actually set the global level programmatically?
Let's see from the.
Let's see. Oh, we have globals. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. And this one is going to be the one to rule them all. It's going
Yeah,
to
I
be
guess you're good at naming.
global. Okay, so we have all of these that are set up. Kalpana is saying, okay, so he's actually, he or she actually don't know, saying this is only for the tab. Okay, cool. And then if you see it under collection pre-request script, then it will be available. Oh, okay. So we can try that as well. So let's run this one first. We've changed a lot of things. Let's send it once, and we should have 4 different variables available. So global level, let's see. Okay, so we have a new one here. Very nice. Want to rule them all. We have a new environment one here. Time, current value is this. So that's the current time. It is currently 9:26 on the, I think it's the UTC time zone.
The time. Oh yeah, it's the UTC time zone because I'm on +1.
Yeah, I'm on +1 too. Yeah, I think we actually realized that last week because I thought you were on the same one as France, but you're actually the same one as the UK.
Yeah.
And then we have collection level. So let's see this one. Okay, so we have our ask. Oh, duplicate key. Okay, I'll just delete that one. Danny, cool. I want to update. And then, so how do I test the local level one? How do I know if it's available? Do I need to use
I'm thinking maybe it has to be from your
in the
request response. Yeah.
Okay, so and we'll have today MVP is going to be answer. So I think this one would not resolved. It would not resolve because yeah, so it says unresolved because it's set programmatically. So technically it doesn't exist. But I think if I send this, it should resolve. Yeah, there we go. Cool.
So that's it.
That's it. And now let's see what we have here. Danny's saying all methods can also use replace in to access the dynamic variables. Ooh, dynamic variables.
I didn't know about that.
Do you know what the dynamic variables are?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to tell the chat about it?
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can anyone hear us? Hello, hello. Yeah, I think there's a little delay.
So for dynamic variables, those are variables that they can change. We kind of update them from time to time. They're not static.
Yeah, it's basically if you want to... There's a bunch of them, right? Actually, let's see. So if you go to the best website in the world, which is Learning Center, you can access dynamic variables. And there's plenty. I'm not going to scroll through all of them, but let's say you want to send a random name. You can use random first name and it's just pop up random stuff, random address. We can try that out. Okay, everyone's saying sound is fine, so that's good. Yeah, I think it's just we having some internet kind of delay here. So that's the ones that we're going to try it. But before, remember, what are we trying to achieve today? Best response time ever. And we have another question from Frankie who asks, what are the function of pre-request scripts? So pre-request script, there's two types of scripts in Postman. There's the pre-request one and the test one.
Test, yeah.
Pre-request is, as the name says, before the request, you can do some data handling or like programmatically set stuff. One of the use case, for example, is, for example, you see here, I have this one that is new date. Let's say you want to send a request to an API, but you always want to provide the current date. Instead of going here and saying current date is, and write, okay, it's 10:33, blah, 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 and update it every time you send a request. What I'm able to do here is say, I'm going to use, actually, what did I use in here? Time. And because this one is set here, every time I send a request, it's going to update the value. So anytime I send this, now you can see it says 9:34. So I don't know where you are in the world, but it should be either something 34 past or maybe 4 past if you're in India, for example. If I send it again, you can see now it's 34:25 because 20 seconds have passed. So it just allows you to have like dynamic stuff happening instead of you having to go and update all requests. So that's one of the use cases. What you can also do, you could use, you could query data from another place to have it used in that request. There's a few use cases there. Okay, let's go back to what Danny said we could do. He says we can use random BS. Just like that. I don't think that's how you do it. Let's see. Have you done that before, Francis? The replace in thing?
I haven't I haven't worked with replace in.
Yeah, it looks wrong. I'm gonna send it and it's probably not gonna work. Yeah, okay. I think Danny, you need to be more okay. pm.environment.replace in. But don't I need to say what I want to replace in the environment? Like pm.environment.get.
I'm sending the Learning Center article for pre-request script.
Yes, please. So, you know what? I know we have that in the Learning Center as well, because I wrote that. So it is there. Okay, so to use dynamic variables in pre-request or test, use pms.viable that replacing. Well, let me tell you, the person who wrote this needs to know that it isn't clear. So I need to update that. Let me put that back how it is. Ah, okay. Now we're talking. Let's do another one. So you actually send the whole code. So I'm getting told off now because I'm not up to date on my learning center knowledge. Okay, so a few things. Let me read through. So Danny sent this, and apparently, let's say I'm sending this, and now in my environment, I should have Alimi who harnesses vertical communities. Cool. That works fine. And then Kalpana
says, yeah.
Go for it.
You need to type the PM that variables set to set the local variable.
Okay. So yeah, so that's what we've done here. And then he was saying before why the new Postman doesn't have an option to set any particular tab local variable. I remember an old version having that. If you're talking about what we've been doing before, like when doing set as variable, that's a good question. I do not know why you wouldn't have local. That would be a question that I would direct either to GitHub or to help@postman.com, and then Francis can actually ask all the engineers that will have the right answer for that, because I don't have it. And then, so Brenda there says there's a more recent version of it here. Oh yeah, we've actually updated our whole script sandbox and script references on the Learning Center recently with one of our community champions help. So anything you want to do with the PM object is on that page basically. Let's see if there's... Oh, and it's here actually with an example. Let's see. So this example, what does it do? Creates a variable string with vars, and in that variable
replaces tiny names, a random first name, and console.log.
Let's try. Actually, that's good. It does that because now we can talk about the console. Okay, how do I access the console? Sorry, that was a question for you, Francis.
Oh.
How do I access the console?
Yeah, so the console that's just down bottom left. You see the console.
There's a lot of stuff happening here.
Yeah, so normally we ask users maybe when they're facing an issue. We also ask them for the screenshot of this particular console. Maybe it helps us with debugging, or we go to view, it's at the top there, view developer, viewing shared, dev tools, shared dev tools current, or
this one?
No, the down one.
This one?
Yeah, shared, and then current. Go to the console tab.
Ooh,
Good. So it helps us in debugging issues.
Okay, I've never actually used that one.
Oh yeah. So we use both.
Is that personal information that I shouldn't share? Because if it is, it's too late anyway. It's fine. It doesn't look like there's any. It's just like collection IDs,
Yeah,
which is fine.
yeah. So our engineers mostly ask for it to when the app is not functioning well, or maybe when you send a request and you're not getting the response that you need. We mostly go through this route. So console here, view. So in case you're having any issue and you want to send a request to our help email, you can just do a step forward by sending us this screenshot.
Save some time.
To save some time.
Good. Okay, so we actually can see this one. So we've used this and console log, and you can see here that it shows, "Hi, my name is Dalton." So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clear the console and send it again, and I should see a different name now. So that's another way you can use for the question that was before about how to use pre-request script. Again, if you're testing an API and you just want to send random data to test how it handles different type of data, you can just not spam it. We never recommend spamming an endpoint, but you can just send a lot of different requests with different names or different family names, addresses, etc. Okay.
We can also try the basic test, just like status 200. So we already,
So
to the right.
To the right, yeah. So we're going to show that, but if anyone's like watching this now or later and you can't see that on the right, it's probably because it's collapsed and you'll have this small arrow. So if you can't see it, just click on the arrow and you can then access it. Okay. Then what do I do?
Look for status 200.
This one.
Yep.
Okay. And so this creates a test which says it expects the response to have a status of 200. That's pretty readable. That's an easy one to do. Okay, and now if I send this, what happens?
Yeah, we can also check the test tab for the results. Gotcha.
And I can see status code is 200. So this is so we use the simple one here, which you could have seen here, but the good thing is that you could have this test for, again, like thousands of requests, and you could see an overview of all these tests passing instead of you having to go in each and every single request to make sure that that it works. So that's a handy one. Let's make one that fails now. So I've actually seen that the response time was quite. It's not that big, right? It's like 400 milliseconds.
Yeah.
But it's more than 200, and I think our default one is response time is less than 200. But actually, you know what? To make sure we'd say make sure that it's less than 50 milliseconds, which I'm sure it won't be. Okay, let's send that. And now you can see one passed. Status is still 200. But this failed. It took 304 milliseconds instead of 50. Okay.
Yeah, and that brings me to a particular question we always get from users about monitors. So we always get users saying, "Oh, my monitor timed out. I was running a monitor and I got this error. It timed out." And in most cases, it's because the monitors are running above 5 minutes limit. So we have a 5-minute limit on all monitors. And once it reaches that, even with a second, it times out.
Yeah.
So our recommendations are mostly you should split your collections to reduce the number of requests. And they'll be like, "Oh no, I used my collection runner and it went well. The time wasn't up to 5 minutes, but now using the monitor, I'm getting fun." So that happens a lot. And the time it takes for the monitors to run, it seems it's a bit higher kind of with the collection runner. So that's something to note too.
Yeah, actually, you're mentioning collection runner, monitor, which are let's get to these. I think these are interesting as well. Just before, again, let's read the chat. So first, KD, he's saying, I am in the beginning of learning JS and about APIs. How do you recommend approaching Postman tests and exporting specific data from GET responses? Great questions. Approaching Postman tests, I think so. The link that we had just showed before, this one, which is test script examples, for example, has like a getting started with tests. So that's the.
I just sent it again.
Where did you send it?
YouTube chat. It should restream.
Because I can't see it on the. For some reason, I can't see it on here. I'll paste it as well, just in case.
I'll just send it to you.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you. So that's a great link to get started, but even better than that, I think we have, if you go to our YouTube channel, there are plenty of videos around tests. Actually, let me check. So there's these two, which are like very basics. There's these ones. I mean, yeah, look for tests in our videos. It's two different series. So there's this one, and then this one I think is the updated version of it, made by the same person that actually updated the docs with us, so Valentin Despa. Yeah, I would recommend that as a good starting point. You'll get plenty of examples, use cases, etc. The other one, your other question is exporting specific data from GET responses.
I know there's this, may not be related, but useful for those if you want to speed up your production or your code. We have this particular feature called code when you make a request. If you just open the app. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, so that's so if your question is how do you export like your request to somewhere else, that's a good way to do it, and it will give you the code to kind of replicate the same request on other. Like for example, you mentioned you learning JavaScript. Fetch is the basic library now to do fetch requests. So this will export the request, and you can just copy paste that in your code.
It saves you a lot of time.
Yeah, it saves tons of time. But if your question is about, let's say you do a GET request like we did here, and you want to export some of this data. So if you want to reuse this data in Postman, you can use tests, and that's where you can. Let's see, is there a sample for that? Set an environment variable up. So you can do, I'll set my response data to pm.response, if I could type. So I never know, is it .json here? .body.json? Can't type today. Let's see that actually. So if I send this, and if I look at my environment, okay, so it is null, so it's not the one. And what we'll do, we'll go to the Learning Center. Oh.
I think it should be.
Danny says it's just .json. If I send this, okay, so now I get an object, and I can actually go through. So I can do .args, .today, tsc, and now you can see your response data has been updated to Francis Labby, because that's what the thing was, like the GET response came back with. So that's one way to keep it and reuse it somewhere else. And then if your question was about exporting it to outside, I think for this one I would direct you to the community forum, which I know has had that question asked before, and you can do export data, something like that. I'm not sure what exactly you would look for as the... Oh, there you go. Export particular data. This one has no answer. Amazing. So that's not the one. Save response. Oh, that's the one. And there you go. I'll link that one to the chat as well. So basically, it saves the whole response from the request to somewhere else. Obviously, this person again is everywhere. There's no running away from him. It's going to show you how to do that. So I've just posted just pasted that on the chat. So I see so many questions today. Where did I stop? Okay, so Prashant saying, hi, are you reading my comment? Yes, we are. We're reading all the comments.
So Prashant asking, is there any opponent?
There is.
Yeah, sure. Let me get the... Postman carriers.
Yeah, I'll show on the stream at the same time, and then Francis can send you the link. So if you go to postman.com/carriers and click view open positions, give it a second, it's gonna load, and then there's all of these. I'm not quite sure where you're located. Most of our positions are US, UK, Canada, or India. A few of them are remote, but yeah, that would be your go-to. Katie says, that's nice. Generally answers my question. I will check you out after the stream. Cool. Glad we could help. And again, we always happy to help. We only do these streams once a month, but if you have more questions, the community forum is probably the best place for it. For just general questions, for any questions regarding bugs or issues you may have, Francis is the other best person to go to. So help@postman.com would be the place to go.
Sure.
Okay, so there's a small question that's snuck in between from Abdullah, who says, can we call DB connection from Postman? And Danny answered right below, you can if the DB has a REST API that you can call. So that's actually a question. I'm guessing you may have that one coming a lot as well, which is someone asking whether you can call this or that with Postman. There's a lot of this on the community forum, and the answer is always or often the same, which is if it has an API, then you can.
Yeah, and if the API the endpoints are public, or if you require an authentication, you definitely need to get that.
Yeah, it's always the first step is there's an API. If so, is it available, publicly available? If not, where do you get the login? Do you need to pay to get access, etc.? So yeah, to answer your question, you should be able to access a DB from Postman as long as it has an API. Also saw a quick comment saying we need more collection in API network of Postman. Can't agree more. We need more. If you know people that want to join, let them know the API network is a thing and they can join. We're working hard. We're trying to get more people to join the API network. We're getting there. There's already quite a few. So for people that don't know what the API network is, I'll show you right now. This is this repository of many APIs, 3,000, which are posted by different companies. And the beauty of that is that, let's say I want to use the here API, I want to use the geocoder API. I can click run in Postman, open it in Postman. It's just going to import it for me, and straight from there, I have it all set up. I think you need, so you need to log in. So I would need an app ID and an app code. So I can't use it straight out of the box. but I don't need to create all these endpoints, etc., to start playing with it. It's all there for me, and I can just go ahead and send them.
Do you mind sharing the process for them to get their collections on their API network?
Let me see. How to protect an API endpoint? Ooh, that's a good question. There's many ways to protect an API endpoint. I don't think Postman will protect your API endpoint, but it will help you test whether it's protected correctly.
Yeah.
So for your specification, how to protect it, there's many ways. There's authentication. First is like putting a layer. So I would recommend reading about OAuth, etc. Then you want to maybe protect it against spam. So you would want to add rate limiting and stuff like that. So I would recommend reading about these two. And then once you've got the best protected API ever, go in Postman, and then just try it, and see if you can get in, basically. So Kalpana is saying they'll extend Frank API protect question. Again, I'm not an expert in that area, so I don't want to say anything wrong. I would recommend checking online for people who's that going to be the main job. And once you have your API, come back to the stream and we'll show you how to try to break in if you want, but we won't tell you how to protect it because we don't know. Katie has a question. Actually, that's a good question for you, Francis. What was the most fun and the most useful API that you have used?
So I would say the Postman API helped me a lot with my daily work.
Yeah, so, that's definitely the most useful. The most fun? Let me see.
This particular, what's the name of this API? I wouldn't say I've used it, but I've seen it being demoed for games, right? I don't know if you saw that.
So actually someone, Sue Branded, just sent one in the chat, which is http.cat. So this is a good one. Basically, you give a status code, and it replies with a cat picture. So you can do that in Postman, I think. So you can go http.cat/200 and that's a successful request, I guess. So that is a very good one. If it's
really nice, interesting.
404 not found, well, can't find the cat. If it's a internal server error, there you go. You've got an internal server error. Which other code could we try? What is 301? Is it redirect? Too many redirects or something? Move permanently.
201 is scary.
201. Let me see.
You'll receive a bite.
That's a good one. So one thing I wanted to show is Kinlane, one of our colleagues, created a list of publicly accessible APIs, but I never know where it's stored. Publicly accessible API list. If someone on the chat knows where I can find it. It's actually on the API network, so let's see. Can I do like this? Nope. Public API. Nope. I wish I knew these things by heart, but I do not. Okay, I'm just gonna hope that someone knows. Oh, there we go. Nice, thank you, Sue. So if you go to the link that Sue just sent, it's a list of plenty of APIs that you can use without having to log in, and some of them are pretty fun, some of them are just, they send you fact about cats, for example, because why not? And I could run that in Postman. Oop. Oh, it's probably going to complain because there's too many requests. Should not have done that. Oh no, it's fine, I'm on my workspace. Okay, so let's say I want a cat fact. The world's largest cat measured 48.5 inches long. Cool. There you go. That's a fact.
I love to see that cat.
Let's see if we want a Game of Thrones characters. So does this send a list of all characters? Okay, it does, with their gender, whether when they were born, when they died, the assets. Okay, cool. So yeah, plenty of APIs out there to try and play with.
There's one I worked at in for GraphQL.
Let's
that
see.
list countries, their flags.
Okay, did you send it?
Language. I don't think it's on our API network. It's a GitHub.
It needs to go. It needs to go in the API network. If you send it to me on Skype, I can forward it to the chat as well.
Let me see.
Okay, I think actually I didn't realize, but we're running out of time. We're like 3 minutes past 11. So many questions.
Today was really interesting.
Yeah.
Questions.
Actually, yeah. Danny mentioned another one. A game controlled by an API. That's a cool one that we've done actually on stream. So I'll show you quickly. So that's this little character you can move around by sending requests to it, and you can say go left, go right, go forward, do a flip, do a backflip, etc. We actually did a stream around this one. So again, if you go to our YouTube channel and go to the Postman Live playlist, this video is the one where so I'm with Evan, who created the game, and we go through how he went into creating it, and then we were at the end, it was just us playing with people in the chat, and you can see everyone was sending requests and making him do like random things. That's
there's a particular game I was talking about that I saw it demo, and really
that was a fun one to do.
API.
Cool. Okay, so we're out of time. Actually, I didn't realize we've been talking a lot. You've been entertaining us, and hopefully we've been helping you. So I'll switch back to discussion. Cool. So before we leave, first I want to thank Francis because he's stayed with me and he's helped me help you, which is very nice of him. And
thanks for helping us too.
Also for I actually told him yesterday at midnight that I gave him the wrong time for the stream, so he had to change at the last minute and join at the last minute. So it was completely my fault. Time zones, I don't know how to deal with them. But yeah, so that's for
that's fine.
For the little story. With that said, a few things. If you have more questions and they are about just how to do a specific thing, please go to the community forum, which is community.postman.com, and I'm going to put it on the chat. If you have specific like privacy questions where you need to share some data, for example, or if it's a what you believe is a bug, or just you have questions about pricing, plans, stuff like that, then Francis and his whole team, the product support team, are your people, and you can reach out to them on help@postman.com.
Postman.com. Yeah, and we'll be happy to hear from you and help you.
And yeah, with that said, thank you all for joining. That was fun. We learned a lot. We showed a lot. Thank you again, Francis.
Thanks, Alemi. I'm looking forward to coming back again.
Yeah, I will have you back again for sure. All right. Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.